Welcome. This video is called The Math of Our Actions. First of all, before I start any video, I like to say, first of all, let's thank God for the blessing of a brand new day and the opportunity to once again enhance self. God could have made your whole life one sunrise and one sunset, but he chose to break it down. So no matter how dark it's been, today we have been blessed with the light of another day. The importance of the math of our actions. We all know we all have the same goal, right? Everybody wants to be successful. You want to upscale your career, whether you want to impress your employer, whether you want to upscale your business to the next level. In order to make these things happen, you have to take certain steps each and every day to accomplish those goals. The first thing you want to remember is the start of a business is not the end of a business. It's the same thing if you're building a house, right? If you start off with a house, you start off with a lot, and then you have a foundation. And let's say you're trying to build a triplex. Well, in order to get to the end of those triplexes, or at the end of building a triplex, you have to do certain things to get to that point. When you first start off, you have a foundation, and what the foundation is you. You are the foundation. You're trying to build this house, right? But let's say fast forward, the triplex is done, it's really nice, and someone wanted to come talk to you. When they knock on all three of those doors of that triplex, as beautiful it is, you're nowhere to be found. Why? Because at that point, you own the property, you own the asset, but three other people live in the triplex. The point I'm making is you don't go looking for the people to live in the triplex when you're building the foundation. That's when you're the most involved. So when you start a business, we have to understand that the end game of the business is not the same way as the beginning of the business. Let's compare it to starting a family. As we talked about before in this video, it's about the math of our actions. Let's say, for instance, you have a baby, like I had a grandson, and you can say congratulations through the camera, all right? And when I had my grandson, I was excited, but my daughter was a little worried. She began to call me just after one day of having my grandbaby and say, where's he gonna go to college? What's he gonna be? Who's he gonna become? And all these things she was talking about that was, 20 years into the future. And what I told her was, hey, wait a second. Let's just make sure that my grandson can latch onto the breast and get the proper breast milk needed to be a healthy child. And we'll take it one step at a time until he gets to where he needs to be. See, business works the same way, guys. We got to start somewhere. If you start a clothing line or a shoe company, you can't run your company like Nike immediately, because Nike didn't run its company like Nike immediately. It had to grow into what it is to become. So this video is talking about you in the business world. When you have a goal and you want to be successful, it's okay to start one place, but you have to perform the proper actions to get to where you want to be. Have you ever been to Philadelphia? If you've ever been to Philadelphia, you'll notice that in our neighborhoods, we have something we call poppy stores. We call them poppy stores because generally they're ran by someone of Hispanic descent. But more importantly, we call them poppy stores because they're small, and in the back they make sandwiches, and they sell sardines and candy and all these different items. And generally the owner is sitting inside the poppy store that a lot of people in the neighborhood begin to say, hey, mom, hey, pop. And they run this store, and they run it for years, and they're very proud. They'll tell you, hey, I sent my kid to college, or I make my own money. I open when I want to open. I can refuse business if I want to. But if you think about it, everything inside that poppy store is also inside of 7-Eleven. But that poppy store is not 7-Eleven. What is the difference? It's not the product. It's the fact that 7-Eleven may have started in a similar manner, but they took the proper steps each and every day, and the math of their actions equaled up to a Fortune 500 company. And that's what I want to teach you. What are the math of your actions that are going to lead to success? Here's the bottom line. There are 4 denominations in every action you take in business. It does not matter what the action is. It falls into one of 4 denominations. The first thing is it either adds to the business, it subtracts from the business, it divides the business, or it multiplies the business. One of the 2 most powerful parts of those denominations is multiplication and division. Let's give you an example. Sometimes when we start a business and we do one thing, we say, hey, it's not a big deal. I was only late one day. But let's do being late times 10. Let's say you have now 9 employees plus yourself, and all of you are late. That is a disaster. Because when you are late, you are taking away from the business. Every action you do, you need to analyze. What does this do for my company? Where is this going to lead us? How is this going to make us end up? Where are we going? What is the math of this action? So if you come on time, if you, as I like to say, cock locked and ready to rock in the morning time and you're ready to go, you are adding to the business. And if everybody adds to the business, it grows. If you're late, you're subtracting from the business. And if everybody's subtracting from the business, eventually you will run into zero no matter what number it is. If you keep subtracting, you end up at zero. Let's say, for instance, at the end of the day, you were hired as an employee in the company, or you own the company, either one. But your goal is to grow the company. And every time you meet somebody, you promote the company. And you talk about building the company. You are on the path of multiplying the business. And multiplying the business is a powerful thing. 2 times 2 is 4, but 4 times 4 is 16. Do you understand what I'm saying? Multiplication grows the business at high levels. Let's say the vision of the business. You don't like your employer. You don't like your supervisor. So you whisper to your friend, I don't like him. I don't like her. They always doing this. They always doing that. You are dividing the company. Now when that person comes around and they're trying to get the team to do something positive, now all of a sudden there's division in the ranks. So each and every day, guys, we have to take the time to understand if you want your business to grow, then focus on addition and multiplication. And if you want your business to fail, then focus on subtraction and division. The decision is yours. You have to be aware of what you're doing. The next thing we want to do is how do we tie everyone in to the same goal? Now, we understand that all of us want to add to the business. We understand that we want to multiply the business, but one guy owns the company. Another guy, he might be in the middle of the company. Maybe he runs this part of the company, and the other guy just sweeps up the company. He just cleans it. How do we tie everybody in? The way you tie everybody in and get everybody on the same page is remembering that a person has to sit down and figure out how their personal goals align with the company goals so that everybody can find the highest form of success. It doesn't matter what it is. If you just took this job because you want to save some money throughout the summer, then guess what? Doing the job correctly brings positive results to the job and positive results to your life because it's something positive you can put on your resume. And if you show up every time and do it correctly, then you may be noticed and get another opportunity. So you remember why you took the job in the first place. Do you understand? And so, yes, your personal goals is to save money and go back to college. But while you're in that business, you are concentrating on doing the right thing because you are trying to add to your life and you are trying to multiply your life. So you have to be careful that every step and every action you take for your own life also adds and multiplies the business. Here at M3 Motivated Melanated Men, we're here to tell you guys that you can be as successful as you like. And if we were to speak to your team, we can help you grasp those goals. I'm glad you guys were here to listen. Let a word to the wise be super sufficient, the math of our actions.